From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And thanks for joining us here on the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is standing by from home this midday. Todd, another fall-like day out there. If people like fall, they should get outside sometime this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely, Lauren. Temperatures aren't all that bad. We're in the 60s, so you may need a light jacket, but if you're working up a sweat, walking fast, you could probably get away with maybe a short sleeve shirt here throughout the afternoon hours, depending where you are. Now, I'm pointing the camera to the north, and as you look in this direction, you definitely see more in the way of cloud cover than if we would spin the camera 180 degrees and look down to the south, where there's more in the way of sun. And you just have to look at the temperatures to see who has the cloud cover right now in the 50s compared to who has the sunshine to the south. Bloomington's at 65 compared to 56 in Peru, as well as Lafayette. Indianapolis splitting the difference there at about 61 degrees. And as you see on the satellite radar picture, there are a few clouds, and we'll give you a little bit of a closer look. There's a few showers just north of Indianapolis. Probably not amounting to much more than a few sprinkles out there because the air is still so dry. The further north you are today, the better opportunity for a quick passing shower or two. Otherwise, look for just partly cloudy skies to the south, mostly cloudy skies up to the north. Temperatures, though, not going to jump much more from this point forward throughout the day. Look for highs to be in the low 60s. We will clear out tonight, setting us up for a cool day tomorrow. More on that, Lauren, in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. New this midday, a woman is dead after a shooting that happened on the southwest side of Indianapolis this morning. Metro Police say they were called out just after 6:30 to a home on South Taft Avenue near Burnwind Street. That's part of the Mars Hill neighborhood. Now, the woman with the gunshot wound was found in a backyard of a home there. She was taken to the hospital but died soon after. The woman's name has not been released yet, and police did not say anything about possible suspects. COVID-19 cases are rising once again. Perhaps the more worrisome number is the rise in the positive test rate. Here's a look at the new numbers from the state health department this midday. New cases were back over the 1,000 mark with 1,171 reported today. 13 additional deaths related to COVID-19 were also reported. The positive test rate continues to go up. The 7-day average for unique individuals is 7.3%. That number had dropped to below 7% just 4 days ago. Also new this midday, new claims for unemployment benefits remain stubbornly high as the pandemic slowdown now enters its seventh month. Last week, more than 10,000 Hoosiers filed for regular unemployment benefits for the first time. When you combine those with the applications for extra benefits available because of the pandemic, more than 31,000 people in Indiana filed for some type of unemployment. One reason unemployment numbers remain high is because companies continue to lay off workers. Today, American and United Airlines say they'll have to start laying off up to 32,000 employees unless Congress comes up with another stimulus package. The CARES Act earlier this year, you may remember, gave airlines $25 billion to help them avoid cutting jobs, but the airlines are saying that money has run out.
My message to Congress is that we are real people. We are aviation's first responders and frontline workers, and our livelihood and our health care is literally in their hands.
The Democratic-controlled House passing a $3 trillion stimulus bill back in May. They later passed a smaller bill, but Senate Republicans and the White House say that's still too large. Talks between House Democrats and the White House negotiators do continue today. Well, flu season is underway, and it's more concerning this year since we will remain in the COVID-19 pandemic for quite some time, it looks like. Health experts are encouraging you to get your flu shot as soon as possible. One easy way to get a flu shot is to get the kids and grandkids to head over to the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. Since it's the Children's Museum, health professionals from Riley Children's Hospital are going out of their way to make sure that the kids are comfortable.
Our child life specialists from Riley are very talented to help with distracting individuals that may have some apprehension about getting their flu shot or other vaccines. So they will be here on hand to help ease that sort of nervousness and everything as you're getting your vaccine.
Well, you can get a flu vaccine for free today from 4 until 8 if you're among the first 500 people to buy a $5 ticket to get into the museum. Now that we're in October, you may be wondering about the status of Halloween and trick-or-treating, how the pandemic will affect it. The state health commissioner is offering some guidance for Halloween celebrations.
And I'm not trying to be the Grinch or maybe appropriately the witch, more appropriately, the witch who ruined Halloween. But I don't want COVID-19 to take that role either.
Dr. Box there says that the state will follow the CDC's recommendations, putting Halloween activities into 3 different categories: lower risk, moderate risk, and higher risk. Celebrations with your own family in your own home, those are considered lower risk. Traditional trick-or-treating and crowded indoor costume parties are considered higher risk. The doctor says that there are some things that you need to remember.
A costume mask is not a substitute for a cloth mask. A costume mask should not be used unless it's made of 2 or more layers of breathable fabric that covers the mouth and nose and doesn't leave gaps around the face. Instead, consider using a Halloween-themed mask. And if you're going to a haunted house or any other scary event where screaming might occur, you should stay even more than 6 feet away from others who aren't in your family to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19.
If you have COVID or if you've been exposed to someone with the virus, Dr. Box stresses you should not participate in any in-person Halloween events. That includes passing out candy to trick-or-treaters. With the next presidential debate rolling around, there's a chance that a moderator could have a mute button. Coming up, possible change in rules brought on by the first debate that went off the rails. Todd.
And Lauren, we've been dealing with sunshine throughout much of the morning, but some clouds are moving in, and with those clouds come a few spotty showers in northern locations. This is part of a front that's going to usher in even cooler air for the days ahead. We'll let you know how chilly it's going to get heading into the weekend, coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Welcome back. Today, a federal appeals court is hearing a case that could force Indiana to allow you to vote by mail because of the COVID-19 pandemic. A group of voters sued the state to try and mandate no excuse absentee voting for the general election like we had back in the June primary. They say some Hoosiers would have to choose between risking their health or not voting if they could only vote in person. Earlier, a federal district judge ruled against those voters. The judge said that while the Constitution guarantees the right to vote, it does not guarantee the right to vote by mail. No word on when the appeals court will make that decision. After a first chaotic presidential debate, the moderator of the next one may have an option of muting the candidates' microphones if they won't stop talking. That and other debate rule changes are coming as the president is criticizing widespread voting by mail. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze is in Washington right now with the latest.
More fallout today from the widely criticized first presidential debate.
The radical left. Will you shut up, man? Listen,
Both candidates unapologetic about their behavior on stage.
Any regrets on your part, anything that you said?
no. The verdict is in, and they say that we, all of us, won big last night.
A Washington Post analysis finding the president accounted for 71 of the 90 interruptions during the insult-ridden debate. The Commission on Presidential Debates vowing to change the format of the next 2 debates to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. But questions now about whether the ugly political fight has turned off voters altogether.
I turned it on, but I got so disgusted I couldn't watch it.
The question is the body of Americans who are deciding whether or not to vote at all.
Meanwhile, President Trump's refusal to condemn the far-right extremist group, the Proud Boys, during the debate continuing to draw scrutiny.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
The president's own FBI director saying last month white supremacists and others with similar ideology account for the biggest share of domestic terror threats.
Within the domestic terrorism bucket, category as a whole, racially motivated violent extremism is, I think, the biggest bucket within that.
President Trump now saying he's not familiar with the right-wing extremist group he commented on during the debate.
I don't know who the Proud Boys are.
But Mr. Trump doubling down on incendiary rhetoric, making unproven claims of widespread voter fraud, and attacking Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar.
How the hell did Minnesota elect her? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Some experts warn President Trump's continued attacks on the integrity of the election is a tactic to intimidate voters so they don't show up at the polls. Joe Biden, for his part, is counting on and urging Americans to vote the way that's best for them. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
One part of Indianapolis says it's a sign of hope. Next, how a badly needed business is moving in and what one neighborhood hopes it will bring. Let's take a live look outside right now. This is our view here of the Circle City. You can see sunny skies, a cool day, and we're going to look ahead to your forecast for the rest of your Thursday and look ahead to the weekend with Todd Clausen. That's all coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Before the end of the year, a new bank will be up and running on part of the east side that hasn't been home to a financial institution in years. WRTV's Cameron Riddle shows you how this could open up new opportunities for the residents.
In Indianapolis, there are a number of things the east side of the city doesn't have.
We don't have a bank. We don't have adequate access to healthy food sources. We don't have great sidewalks. We don't have just the basic essentials for a great quality well-being. And the list goes on and on.
But this fall, that list will be shorter when the new First Merchants Bank opens near 38th Street and Keystone Avenue. Ashley Gervitz is the CEO of the Alliance for Northeast Unification and lives just blocks from the bank, which for her will be a 3-minute bike ride from home, compared to the 3-mile car trip she currently takes to the nearest bank. She and area residents are thrilled.
They are so excited. They're like, what do we have to do to make sure now that we have something that wants to invest in us to make sure it doesn't leave again?
The staff at First Merchants Bank say they recognize the need for a bank in the 46218 zip code. It's among the many conversations the company has had with residents like Gervitz. They say if the goal is to help the east side thrive, then it comes down to finances.
That is a big part of that growth. It's a big part of bringing good ways for individuals to be able to save, for individuals to be able to buy their homes, to find ways to invest, and we want to be in part of the growth with them.
First Merchants says in addition to talking with the community, it has done its research using a study from Indiana University, which indicates the 46218 zip code is lacking financial literacy and down payment assistance. Now the bank is prepared to cater to the east side's commercial and residential customers.
We're going to have a first-time homebuyer product with no money down. There's going to be grant money available and low credit scores as low as 600.
Gervitz says she is looking forward to the day when residents don't solely have to rely on a liquor store or payday loan store to simply cash a check.
Who wouldn't have a bank? And the need has just been so critical.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Cameron, thank you. First Merchants Bank was the center of a 2019 lawsuit from the U.S. Department of Justice accusing the bank of redlining and avoiding offering services in predominantly black areas of Indianapolis. Without admitting any wrongdoing, First Merchants Bank settled that lawsuit and agreed to open a full-service bank in one of the city's predominantly black neighborhoods. Well, later today, we're going to learn more about new relief for hotels, restaurants, and other businesses in Marion County. The mayor's office is scheduled to announce details on a hospitality industry grant program at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The grants will be paid through $7.5 million in federal COVID-19 relief funding. Marion County businesses, notably bars and clubs, they've been under tighter pandemic restrictions than the rest of the state due to the higher number of COVID cases here. The hospitality industry has been hit hard by the cancellation of the major sporting events and conventions. All right, on this Thursday, let's get a look at our forecast with Todd Clausen. Todd, what can folks expect as they're maybe trying to get outside for their lunch hour?
Yeah, it really just kind of depends where you are at this lunch hour, Lauren. Across central Indiana to the north, there's more clouds, a few sprinkles. To the south, it's warmer with more in the way of sunshine. Let's quickly go back to yesterday as we wrapped up the month of September. Officially only a 0.12, just over a tenth of an inch of rain for the entire month. And that officially made it the driest September on a record by far. You used to see you have to double the rainfall total from this year to get to number 2 on the list back in 1963. And as far as rain goes, there's a few showers, as I mentioned, out there today, mainly in northern locations. That's the direction you're looking here with all the clouds that are in place. There's more in the way of sunshine to the south, and where that sun is out, temperatures are running warmer. 65 in Bloomington, 64 in Columbus, only mid-50s right now in Lafayette, as well as Peru and Tipton, coming in at 57 degrees at this noon hour. So these clouds will continue to rotate through northern locations, and there's a few showers out there, nothing all that heavy. And with the air being so dry, a lot of this isn't even reaching the ground, but you're definitely going to have more of an overcast sky throughout the afternoon hours to the north. Indianapolis is kind of right on the border of the clouds and the clear skies, and there's a few spotty showers that'll rotate through the area here throughout the afternoon, all around this big area of low pressure that is to the north. and we just have that counterclockwise flow around this area of low pressure, and that's what's going to not only give us the clouds and the shower chances here today, but also drop our temperatures a little more as we go into the coming days for both overnight lows and for afternoon highs. TrueCast here shows just the chance of a few spotty showers throughout the afternoon hours. They'll fade soon as the sun starts to set as we lose the daytime heating. And then throughout the evening hours, we will see our temperatures start to cool off pretty quick. Highs in the mid-60s to the south, low 60s up to the north. All those temperatures below the normal high of 71. We're in the 50s this evening, and then for the day tomorrow, it's a cool day, a little breezy as well. Starting in the mid-40s, ending with highs in the upper 50s. So not many of us even get to 60 degrees for the day tomorrow. And with that cooler high temperature and then clear skies overnight heading into Saturday morning, look at the temperatures all the way down into the 30s for overnight lows. Patchy frost likely on Saturday morning, our first foray into frost so far this fall season. As we look ahead to the rest of the weekend, despite the frosty start on Saturday up to 61 degrees with sunshine in the afternoon, it's definitely the better day of the weekend. Sunday, we bring in clouds and scattered showers off and on throughout the day. And as a result of that cloud cover and somewhat damp conditions, temperatures will only be in the 50s. As we head into next week, though, we do have a nice warming trend that'll be heading our way as temperatures climb eventually back above normal for highs by Wednesday, right around 73 degrees. So a couple chilly days here, some small rain chances today, Lauren. The best rain chances in our forecast, though, going forward are going to be during the day on Sunday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, the Major League Baseball postseason continues this afternoon here on WRTV. The Cubs are on the brink of elimination after losing Game 1 of their wild card round series to the Marlins on Wednesday. They're going to try to even out the best of 3 series this afternoon at Wrigley Field. You can watch that game at 2 o'clock today, again, right here on WRTV. Well, they're trying to prove that you aren't too old to rock and roll. Coming up, a legendary hard-rocking band that will be back in black very soon. Stick around. You're watching the news at noon. Welcome back. So when is a piece of bread not considered bread? Apparently the answer is when it's holding a Subway sandwich in Ireland. Yeah, Ireland's Supreme Court has issued a ruling saying that sandwiches made by Subway restaurants in that country cannot be considered to be made with bread because they have too much sugar in them. The case started when a Subway restaurant in Ireland tried to get out of paying that country's value-added tax by saying that its sandwiches were staple foods that are exempt. But the Irish court ruled that the amount of sugar in the sandwiches disqualified them from staple food status. So technically, and only in Ireland, that it's not a piece of bread that's holding your sandwich together at Subway. Well, they may not be as young as they used to be, but they are coming back for at least one more album. Hard rockers AC/DC have confirmed that they're back together, and they're teasing the release of an album called Power Up. It also marks the return of screaming lead singer Brian Johnson to the band 4 years after he left under some controversy and was briefly replaced by Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses. The new album is expected to be out in November. And Todd, I think November will be here before we know it. These months are just flying by. We're in October finally.
I know, October 1st, and it's definitely feeling like fall. No doubt about that, Lauren, with temperatures that'll be running below normal all the way until probably the middle of next week. 64 this afternoon, a few spot showers north of Indianapolis. Partly cloudy, cool and breezy tomorrow at 59. Saturday starts off really chilly in the 30s, but warms into the low 60s with sunshine. It's the better day of the weekend. Sunday, scattered showers in the forecast with a high of only 56. Sunday's not a washout, but those showers could be pretty pesky off and on throughout much of the day. And then there's that warming trend back up into the 70-degree range by Tuesday and Wednesday.
Todd, thank you, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Come back here and join us for the news at 5. Have a great afternoon.